Hello, hi, Steve's Dangits, and today they're getting it. We're doing the best of, or rather the worst of, Dangits plays of the year. We're going through the Metro Division, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are getting it today. And I got a rant, folks, I got a rant. Because we were going through it, and there was a fluky goal scored on Matt Murray, kind of bounced over his head. There was a Kessel giveaway in the defensive zone. No. What we're going with is the Penguins getting swept in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs by the New York Islanders.
Barzell with Everly. Everly scores! Dangle reaching in for the puck. Bailey comes up with it. Right in front, scores! Brock Nelson tips it by Murray. It's a clean sweep for the first time since 1983. The New York Islanders sweep a playoff series, and they eliminate the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Now listen, at least they made the playoffs, I get it. And this shouldn't take anything away from the Islanders. This isn't a situation where the Blue Jackets swept the Lightning. Sometimes you get swept. And in this case, it's not even the manner in which the Penguins got swept. It's that this team won the Stanley Cup in 2016. And because they were so good, and they basically mostly stayed together, they won it again in 2017. Back-to-back cups. It's so hard to do in the modern NHL. A bunch of teams in recent memory have won 2 and 3 years, but back-to-back is especially hard to do. After the Penguins won the 2017 Cup, finished their second cup in 2 years, Jim Rutherford and the Penguins decided they did not win their back-to-back cups good enough. He didn't like the manner in which the Penguins won their cup. We need more toughness. We need more toughness. And the next year, they played the Washington Capitals in the second round, as is tradition. Capitals ended up beating them, and hey, that's gonna eventually happen if you play the odds. The Capitals have been a very good team for a number of years. They just keep running into the Penguins. Well, I mean, you don't have to win. The Leafs and Bruins still exist, but it happened finally for the Caps. And then they won the cup and they swam in a pool, hooray. But it is the manner in which the Pittsburgh Penguins, a team that won back-to-back cups, decided to ruin themselves, literally ruin themselves on paper. You know, sometimes you got to make cap decisions and you got to move guys out. And I understand not staying stagnant, not being too satisfied. You know, Connor Sherry heading out of town, for example, yeah, that shouldn't make or break your team. But the Jack Johnson contract is a disaster and it took 1 year. Who else is so stoked to see how that Brandon Tanev contract goes? What? They just signed Brandon Tanev to a 6-year contract where he's getting $3.5 million per year. Last year, he had a career high 29 points. It's okay, he's got a lot of potential. He's 27! Steve, what does this have to do with their sweep against the Islanders? It has everything to do with it! As a guy who has cheered for a relatively bad team for most of his life, it kills me to watch the Pittsburgh Penguins, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, ruin themselves for no good reason. There's a difference between retooling, tinkering in between cups, and what the Penguins are doing. Not just because they're taking away their own shot at the cup again. Dude, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, they're both on the wrong side of 30. What do you mean wrong side? Those are the best years of my life. Listen, not if you're an athlete, man. Evgeny Malkin in a different jersey. Ugh. Crosby in a different jersey. Ugh. You know what? I don't really think either of them would do that. Which is why the Penguins wasting them is so stressful. The decisions they made all year were so confusing and it just seemed like deck chairs on the Titanic. And frankly, and it's amazing how many Penguins fans seem to agree with this on Twitter, their first round sweep looks good on them. On behalf of hockey fans everywhere, except for maybe fans in the Metro Division, I hope the Penguins finally screw their head on a little bit tighter because we cannot waste the twilight of Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin's careers. We can't. And hey, if anyone can pull a rabbit out of their hat, it's them. Remember that time they were doing poorly in December and fired their coach and then won back-to-back cups? No, you don't, because you forgot about all the bad stuff and only remember the back-to-back cup. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends that if they can just become a 29-point player, they'll be rich.